I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and welcome to the behind the scenes vlog for the 2023 Spring Mini Skein mini-series. This year, the whole series was inspired by Pokemon, and I actually just finished filming the intro and conclusions for Night 6, the Eevee-inspired colorway. I have not yet started editing the vlog. It is currently Tuesday, night 2 of the Spring Mini Skein mini-series. Yep, I left it to last minute. I have not yet started editing or watching any of the footage that I have collected along the way. So I have no idea how random, out of place some of them are, but I do know, or at least I think, that there are going to be some clips where I am a little bit emotional, overwhelmed, and maybe even a tiny bit frustrated. We had a bit of a challenging winter spring this year with home leaks. Indy got really sick, and thankfully the home is repaired, the dishwasher is repaired, and Indy is doing fine. So I figured I'd let you know that before we get into it, because I don't know, again, what I was filming. So there might be some clips where I'm a little bit less upbeat than I usually am. But I am excited to share the whole journey with all of you. So now let's go back in time to when I started filming clips for the Spring Mini Skein mini-series vlog. It's February 2023 and I'm finally starting this vlog. I don't think I've filmed anything yet, but today I just did the first big order of yarn that I'll be using this year for the Spring Mini Skein mini-series, and I finalized the charms I wanted to use. I had already ordered a bunch of charms related to this theme, but I was debating about the other one, and so I think what I settled on are 2 charms for the main SMSMS, and then there's like a variety of like 5 or 6 different charms that are related to the theme for bonus skeins. So there'll be like a mix or match kind of thing going on there. I think that's the best way to do it. But I've known I have wanted to do some kind of Pokemon video game inspiration for a long time. It's something that is a big part of my daily life. I started playing Pokemon Go the week it came out. I played Pokemon on like Game Boys as a kid. I still play the games now. I really enjoy it. Now, this isn't like an official Pokemon inspiration. Like, I'm not using that in any of my marketing for this or anything. And I think that the colorways I'm picking are not necessarily from my favorite Pokemon overall, even though I am drawing inspiration and color palettes from some evolutions in there. But I don't know, I wanted to pick things that I thought were pretty and maybe do some colorways and color combinations that aren't something that I would immediately always do. It's something that I think is pretty, and it sort of starts to form a vision in my head. And I'm very excited for some of the videos that I want to film with all of this. But yeah, I was nervous to place this yarn order, which normally I'm not, but we did have some like damage, from the storm. We had some like sub-zero temperatures, and we had some leaks, which I haven't dealt with yet. I need to schedule like the plumber and handyman to come and do the drywall. The damage is ultimately minimal, but I don't know, that has me stressed out. And so I've never felt guilty ordering bare yarn for anything. I mean, it is like a business expense. I'm using it for work, but because we have all this other life stuff going on, I, for whatever reason, feel guilty. The good news is that by the time you're watching this video, everything should be resolved and the stress should be gone. But anyway, I now need to think about when I'm going to launch the pre-orders. And historically, I have underestimated demand for various things for the SMSMS. And so it's hard to know like which bases people are going to feel like which year. And I haven't started filming any of the episodes yet. I will probably start filming pretty soon. Once I finish the other February videos I need to finish, then I'll probably start filming and designing colorways. But I guess it's possible I'll be launching pre-orders soon. Certainly not until the yarn arrives, because I always, whenever I'm going to pre-order a colorway, I always make sure I have that yarn physically in my possession. Even if I have it ordered, like that's not good enough, you know, things can happen, shipments can go missing, and things can then be out of stock. And so it's something that I always am very careful to do, because I don't want to make things even more confusing for me. But because I'm using so many different yarn bases, I do have a feel of like what bases sold a little bit faster, I suppose, from previous years. But I find myself that I do like a reorder, okay, because, you know, maybe I had only 5 of the superwash worsted weight base and that sold out. Maybe that'll sell out right away. And so then I will place a second yarn order once that has started. And so therefore, Multi-Dye ships so fast that it means that I would be able to do a restock within a week to have more of certain bases that weren't available. And so, yeah, I'm excited to figure this out. And I don't know if this year will be 4 nights, 5 nights, 3 nights. I mean, I was trying to design some bonus colorways and like looking at various bases that I have in here and things that it's hard to decide, because sometimes I like to use yarn bases I use all the time, but other times I want to use bases that I love having around, bases that I love, but I want to use them and make space for other things, right? I need to do some stash busting in here. I'm not even showing you what the rest of the room looks like. But so, for example, I've had a bag of Swish worsted for a long time, and so if I'm going to do a colorway on a DK weight, I may as well also do it on the worsted weight. I should just need to make sure that I can tell the difference between the two when I'm dyeing them. But I was debating, should I use like Crazy 8 instead? And like, how do I make sure things are clear? Because I also have some zebra. I have a really fun idea for a colorway on a zebra base. I do have some that I can maybe play around with, but yeah, I think that it's possible that the spring mini skein mini series will have a lot of mini skeins, but I also have a lot of idea for like full colorways. So I'm going around in circles a lot, but I don't know, maybe part of the reason why I'm feeling conflicted is I also just had a 100 skein order of Stroll from Knit Picks. And so that is just making all my other yarn purchases feel that much larger at the moment. I don't know. But you can see I'm sitting here just talking to the camera and just like stressing out a little bit. I'm always nervous before I launch, because what happens if I invest in all this inventory and start filming and making all this stuff and then like maybe no one wants it? And so I know I shouldn't worry, but it is always a concern. I suppose one nice thing about the spring or summer, when I've done summer mini skein mini series, is that because each order is a set of colorways that are designed to go together, these are things that I could list as regular shop inventory after everything else has come out. And in fact, last year I did that. I didn't have enough enamel pins to do more sets, so I had dyed more and then listed those. I don't know. I don't even know how much of this I'm going to be including in the vlog. I was just working on all this, and so I thought I would sit down and just share a little bit, and hopefully things start to feel better as we move forward. But I have a project bag I want to make, but I don't know if it will work well or if it'll be a little too challenging for me to actually assemble, because it would have multiple layers and like, I don't know. So I just have to figure some things out. But I am excited, and I hope you're excited too. I keep looking around because I'm like, ooh, well, I have like a bunch of this multi-neps yarn. I'm like, I don't know why I have so much extra. Yeah, I need to be better at ordering yarn with intent, with a specific project in mind. Even though I did not order more of the Yak Silk DK base, merino DK base that I'm obsessed with, because I was like, well, if I need to place another order so I can get to the minimum, then I should save that. But there were only like 40 bags left. So I'm like, oh no, what if it's gone? But I'm not planning on using it right now. And I'm not planning on using that for Hanukkah either. So this is what happens inside my brain. Anyway. Here's the first bag prototype. I mean, I love the design. And if you're not familiar with Pokemon, the like catchphrase is gotta catch 'em all. And I know a lot of us are big yarn collectors, and so gotta stash 'em all. It fit. And this is the yarn ball from my logo, and I turned it into a pokeball. I mean, this turned out awesome. The problem is that I don't know that I can mass produce this. Because it's a little more complicated than like the sun or the sunflower that I've done in the past. But maybe only a little bit. So I'm going to try. But we'll see. Because there's a chance that I will turn this into some kind of sticker. Maybe either, I don't know if it would be in addition to this or instead of this. But, I mean, I love the design. And so I'm really also glad that the white shows up on here. I'm about to try mass producing these project bags. I'm going to try to do 16, see how long it takes. Hopefully the 3 layers aren't really annoying or anything, because I really, really like the design and would like to put the yarn in here, even though I do have a backup. It's still early March, but I feel like I'm late getting pre-orders out. But I've been having a lot of fun playing around with different Pokemon and creating color palettes from it. So I've learned that these are taking a long, long time to cut, but that really isn't the end of the world because I can do cutting while I'm working on something else. The way that I'm printing them, the weeding or the removing the background, so like the removing that extra vinyl from it, is not going slow, and so that's a good thing. The first 2 colorways I dyed this year, I don't know the order the videos will come out yet, are the Cubfant and the Tepig. I think Tepig is the one I went with. So the Twisted Skeins followed by Speckles and then the Mason Jar dyeing. And I decided, because I like to include sock blanks with the SMSMS, I still don't know if I'm going to call it spring or summer right now. I think it'll come out in early June, but I decided to include sock blanks in these videos because then I can talk a little bit about how the same technique might be different on each if you're going to have sets, and like how it could conceivably work up different. Mini skeins give you a little more control where the color transfers happen, but on a blank you don't have to connect anything, so you can just knit all the way through, and you could cut and remove some of it if you wanted to. So you have different choices there, but I thought that it would be fun, and so yeah, I'm gonna go dye the first blanks for the first 2 videos that I filmed. And yeah, because I did this, I've always thought that these, oh, maybe it wasn't last year, because last year was rainbows. The year before, I did a video after where I dyed 3 of the colorways on sock blanks, because I thought, gee, this would look really, really cool on a sock blank. And some of them, it would have made more of a difference than others, I think. But anyway, I hope that you are enjoying all this as you're watching. I'm excited. And I feel like I'm so late. I haven't launched pre-orders yet. I feel like I'm so late, but having like a bunch of water damage and issues in February meant that I wasn't able to focus as much on the planning and dyeing as usually I would be in February. It's now March 16th. So we'll see how it goes. I just launched the pre-orders, and later this evening I'm going to go live to announce it. But I've been twisting up these babies, and I think instead of organizing the yarn by night, I'm going to make bins and organize the yarn by yarn base, even with multiple of the nights in there. So that way I can easily do an inventory count. I think that that's going to make sense because there's 11 different bases. So some of the yarn bases might have a couple pieces that are easy to distinguish in them. And then the ones that I'm dyeing more of will each have their own bin. I hope that this is going to help me stay organized. And then it'll make the packing easier because I often will ship out one base at a time. And so I think that this should work really nicely. I hope. You know how I talk about how some yarn is more absorbent than others? I think we really came into that today. So I'm dyeing a silk blank, a single-stranded blank, and some of the silk yarn, silk merino yarn, which I don't know if I've done with this colorway. And those bases, when I poured the water on, the dye all went down towards the bottom. The dye just flowed down because the water wasn't sinking in, compared to some of our wool ones where you can see like little bits of white going all the way down. But this jar, I don't know if you can even see it on camera. It's so dark down towards the bottom. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. My light in here is so yellow right now, but this gradient, oh my gosh, it makes me so happy. And I'm like contemplating making a set for myself using like 100 or 300 grams to do something, because I love just like these soft transitions. For today's vlog clip, let's sit by some yarn that I need to film conclusions for. I thought it could be worth talking a little bit about why sometimes when I'm prototyping I do like a full set, a full pan of yarn, and why sometimes I might only do 5 mini skein sets for that prototype. And really it depends both on the ease of dyeing, but also how sure I am in the direction that I want to go. When I'm working on what I think is going to be the 5th video, where we're going to have multiple different types of colorways for the set, there's a chance that after I do the prototypes, I might want to swap one of the things out for something else, because I might look at the colors I've dyed and think, ooh, you know what this is missing? XYZ. But there is one other factor as well, and that is the yarn that I'm choosing to use is based on the pre-orders that I have already. And so I don't want to dye too much of any one night, and I don't want to dye too many mini skeins of any one type either. So I'm paying attention to what bases are selling more and then adjusting what I use in the prototypes based on what I need more of. Because this is a series that is somewhat dyed on demand, I can go ahead and dye more even after I've started shipping out the first range. And so that is something that is good to know. But the other thing that is helpful with this and less scary for this SMSMS compared to Hanukkah is that if I don't sell everything, then we have sets that go in the shop that work together versus being more random like Hanukkah. But anyway, I am so thrilled with how these have turned out. Oh my gosh. And I feel like I've been procrastinating this last one a little bit, but I really, really like the idea. I just need to do it. And so right now, I filmed a clip, but I am making the sets of mini skeins to pre-soak, and I think because today is halfway done, I think I'll start dyeing this tomorrow, but I might not dye all the prototypes on one day, because my plan is to do some fine speckles on like a tonal base for some of the colors. But then I kind of want to do a yarn mop technique for some, and then more variegated with speckles near the end. I'm not entirely sure how it'll work all together and the colors will work, but I love the palette. I just know that like the Pokémon that I'm inspired by for this last one have a lot of like grays and like neutral blue undertones. And I think I'm going to be going a lot more into those accent colors that we have. But I don't know. This one is like a very artistic, like spray painty graffiti kind of Pokemon. And so I want to feel that in the yarn, I hope. When I'm filming conclusions, I use this mat with a faux wood surface. It adds a little bit of interest. And I mean, I try to get the colors as accurate on the camera as I can. To keep track of which base is which, I have little labels that sort of indicate the position. But I also arrange the yarn in a way that I can tell, like, okay, that is that yak. Next to it, we've got the worsted and then the silk. As I was twisting up the worsteds, I noticed a mistake. This set right here is missing the penultimate colorway. We have 2 of our gray speckled. We've got the deep tonal. We've got the green speckled, and then the very last variegated. And so this, I don't know what I'm going to do with this one, but It's going to be kept bundled together for a little while. And I've officially removed it from like my inventory of sets because for all, I'm really happy to do sets that have like 2 lights versus sets that have like the deep at the end instead. I don't want to sell an oops set unless I market it as an oops set, which I might later on, depending on how the pre-sales go. But anyway, this is a little oops that I'm not going to bother talking about during the video because ultimately it's not that relevant, and I try to not have the conclusions be too long for the main videos. I know I could talk a really long time about all of the yarn, so I try to keep it a little bit short. Ideally, I would like the videos to be around 30 minutes, and sometimes like this one, I'm nervous it's going to be a lot longer. So anyway, I'm glad I have a vlog where I can share, oh no, I made an oops with all of you. But thankfully, like, the yarn is still good. And so I have options. Either these minis might end up in like a Black Friday thing, or as I said, I can make an oops set, or I can dye one more mini skein and have a set of 6. There are options. I think these are going to be the labels this time, and it might be a little more complicated for me packing wise just because they are all the same color, but it makes it really easy to cut the red circles and then to do the little half circles for these little Pokeball-esque charms. And we're using a Pokemon font for the numbers. But by cutting the 2 pieces separately, it makes it easier for me to mix and match and assemble, because otherwise I would need to, with all the information, I mean, I suppose I could do this with like a printable sticker or something, but if I wanted all this information just on one color to do with the Cricut, I would have to do a lot more variations of everything. And so it's easier to glue just with a glue stick after the fact. I just don't know if I'm going to regret not having different colors, because I can also use these for the sock blanks. And do I have? Aha. And the yarn mops. And so I don't know if I'll add like a little colorful like heart or star that I draw on by hand. Maybe I'll do something on those just to help differentiate it a little bit more. I'm also about to start ironing some bags, and I have no idea what I have for the vlog right now. I feel like I both have a lot of footage and almost no footage. It's the last week of April right now, and I'd like to start shipping soon. I'm just further behind where I would like to be. I'm in good shape with the yarn, and I've been twisting and starting to label things as we go. So some of that is just going to be stickers and packing. Like, that's not going to be bad. The problem is that last week, Indy got really, really sick. Like, sick enough that we thought it was really, really bad. And we're still, like, on the fence, but he seems to be so much better. So that's really, really good. Hopefully, I'm just hoping that there's not going to be another vlog clip where I am going to be, like, sharing something bad. So if you hear nothing, assume he's fine. But that's been very, very stressful and has me like off my game a little bit. I also have a brand deal now that I need to like put together, which I'm very, very excited about. And you've probably seen that already, but yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, there's a lot on my plate, and realizing like, I want to dye and create colors today, and I don't think I can do that. But yeah. Yeah, good boy. Indy, are you doing good? Yeah? I know. Yeah, hi baby. He's doing much better. And an empty food bowl makes me very happy. The editing Rebecca will pop in with an update, and hopefully it'll be, he's all great and he's fine. Because I'll probably be editing this like a month from now. Hopefully I'll be on target. Yeah, it's just the next few weeks are going to be super hectic. Oh my goodness. And he is great and he is fine, aren't you? Are you a chica chica? Yes, you're such a good boy. What, do you want a treat? The next few weeks are also going to be super hectic for personal reasons. So hopefully I can start shipping these out the end of this week. Because next week is teacher appreciation, and I have a whole stack of things to make for the teachers as well. So I'm going to stop talking and get working. It does ultimately take the Cricut a while to make out a label. Like you can see how, like the speed that it's printing. And so it'll take a while to do this. But I mean, I'm working on other things while this is happening. So it's not that bad. And so while this is happening, I am gonna be over at my ironing board making the bags. And I pre-cut and pre-removed all of the little details for the words. Like I pre-weeded a lot of that, but I left the bulk of the backing on because that's really easy to remove. And so time to start ironing on to many, 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 many bags. I'm over halfway through cutting all the red labels. The ones with the numbers and the dates. They all have the same date on them. I am very sad right now. I'm not angry. I am very, very sad. I mean, on one hand, it's not a big deal. On the other hand, I'm sad about the waste of paper and the waste of time. So I make mistakes. It happens and I get bummed. I think I had a comment recently where someone was like, oh, I really want to see you like down. And it's like, well, it's been a rough week. I'm feeling like I'm behind. I was making progress. Ironing the bags is going slower because the like cutting is going faster, but making progress. And I messed it all up. The worst or the most annoying part is that like I'm gonna have to like recount, and I was gonna have the kids sort the numbers for me. I can just do that. I think because the first day is the 5th. I can change the 5 to a 6. Maybe I can also change it to an 8. I hate this. I hate this so much. All right, I'm going to get back to it. And like, the worst part is that this isn't even the like fun dying part. Like, it's silly to be like this bummed. But I was like, oh, I'm almost done with this. And then I realized I did not fix the dates. Okay, I've corrected the sample labels that I made already. The 6 is a little awkward, works well. The 8 also is a little awkward, works well. Technically, I mean, the 9s and the 7s work, but I am reprinting those. Although I may use these ones that I've already made. Maybe not, we'll see. But if you get one of those, then you get a lucky, a lucky misprint. Woohoo! As a kid, I actually got it wasn't a misprint, it was a misconnected McDonald's Beanie Baby, like Happy Meal Beanie Baby thing. It was a seal, but it had the name of the sheep. But because the tags were just sewn on, and it wasn't on like the butt tag or something, the like sewn in tag, it's not worth anything, but it was valuable to me because I got a mistake. But anyway, it's not so bad. I think originally I was going to have to print this on 18 pages and I'd finished 12. And so now I'm going to be printing 6 new pages, or 12 total. So it's a loss of 6 sheets of paper, which I guess in the scheme of things isn't so bad. And I think I have enough of the red, which is the important part, because otherwise I'd have to try to go and find some. The one thing I am worried about is my pen running out. And this, if you do Cricut stuff, is there a way to get just the fine point black pen? Because that's the one I use the most. And I can't really find like a set that has just the black. You know, I don't want to get a pack of 30 colors or whatever. So it is what it is. Well, oh my God. You guys, I used the wrong pen. Normally, this would mean that I would just quit today. Right pen is in, and now we're going to go chat again. Normally, if I make too many oopses in a day, whether it's I end up with a spill or I don't know, something goes wrong, sometimes I just stop doing things important and then take the rest of the day off, because I know that like my frustration of making a mistake could lead to more mistakes. This is really, really minor. It's just, I happen to be filming the vlog and I'm having a day. Hopefully things will start to go a little bit smoother.
2, 4, 12, 23, SMSMS.
Hey, busy bees.
Hey.
Say hi to
bees. Fine. If you say we are, senior time.
What are you guys doing?
We're doing walk. We're doing walk, but we do not walk at the Busy Bee restaurant. Actually, let's go there. Let's go there for dinner. Come on. Okay.
The 75-25 DK should be
Worsted.
over here. Worsted is right there. So are you guys?
Is worsted the worst?
No, worsted is a thick yarn. Kids, why are you helping mommy?
Because you promised us money.
No, I promised you video game tickets,
Because
didn't
you
I?
promised us video games. And we love video games, and that's the only reason.
Do you know the theme of this yarn sampler that I'm doing?
Yes, we do. ChemKnits! I'm Run Round from ChemKnits.
Okay.
You can see me on any ChemKnits video you watch. There are a few. Probably. The themes are 23 SMSMS. There's also
Guys,
and sock blank.
the theme is Pokemon. I've told you that. I'm making Pokeball yarn bags. I have to get back to it. Okay, keep sorting. You're almost done.
Can I have one of the bags?
Maybe.
Can I have one of the bags?
Maybe.
That's yes. Pone pop, peen peep.
I am currently filming some conclusions of our evolutions video. And I wanted to comment on something really quick. So sometimes with yarn mops, I absolutely adore them. And then sometimes I like them, but I don't love them as much. And these are two that I like, but I'm not in love with. And I'm in love with a lot of the other yarn mops that we dyed for this series this year. But thankfully, I believe I dyed way more yarn mops than I had listed for pre-orders. And so I think that these are two that I will likely just list directly in my shop versus sending out, because I want to make sure that I love everything that I'm sending to customers when it's specifically when it's a mystery pre-order. When they don't know what they're getting, then I need to make sure that I love it. We just have so many different, and here's some more types of yarn mops from this series that these are cool, and I'll pack them in one of the bins, but I think I probably won't send them. Yeah, or who knows? Maybe I have no idea how much extra yarn, leftover yarn I have. So maybe I will have listed them yesterday in my shop. I don't know, but you should go and check out the ChemKnits Creations Etsy shop for hand-dyed yarn. It's a great way to help support the channel. I'll film a clip with like minis eventually, but as I'm organizing the sock blanks to put labels on them, I thought I'd bring you a little bit through this process. And the first step was to organize the blanks from night 1, 2, 3, but then we have our stroll double-stranded blanks, the Hawthorne double-stranded blanks here, and then the diamond blanks, the single-stranded blanks that are so pretty. To simplify things for myself this year, I made labels that have like a fill-in spot for the night, because these are going on the inside of the wrapping and I wanted it to help be clear which night things were from after the fact. But yeah, I thought that this made sense. And so I'll add that night 1 to the back of these 2 labels. And with a really long piece of ribbon, I tie it around the blank. And I have these folded, I guess right now in half, but I always do it with the ends sort of tucked into the middle, because then they're less likely to unravel more. And then sometimes I do thirds, but I think I'm going to do half and then half again. So this fits well in the like organza pouch that I have. So that means I might be refolding a bunch of those, but I think this will give us the right shape. And since I'm holding the phone in one hand. I can't really tie the knots, so I'm doing all that stuff off camera. Then I have the label on the blank, and I will be putting them back into one of my bins, and they tend to fit very, very nicely. I haven't decided if I'm going to try to arrange these in a way to make it like a catalog, but I think rather than wrapping everything all at once, I'm going to, at least for the first sets of orders that have multiple nights and have blanks and sets, I'll probably wrap them as I go, just to like have good variety. Now I am going to be working on signing some more of the packing slips. My handwriting is awful, and I've realized, I have no idea if this will be flipped backwards, but over the years, the I, when I write ChemKnits, has kind of disappeared a little bit. I mean, I suppose it looks like I'm dotting the N, but like the N is right there, and so that's the I. So, I don't know. Oh man, I don't think I can talk while I sign. I thought I could. Okay, but here's one where the N and the I kind of like go together. No, I guess the N is still over there with the K. Okay. I was like, it looks like it's kits, ChemKnits. Oh my gosh. But normally I try to sign packing slips to thank people. But when I do a special series, I tend to sign the letter that goes with it. And maybe that's because sometimes, like, I know people will give them, like, as gifts and things like that, and so they may not share the packing slip. Okay, that one was just awful. But I picked a red marker this time. Oh my goodness. In the best of times, my handwriting is really, really bad. And yeah, so signatures aren't bad. But one thing that I love is this border that I use for the stationery. I don't know if I've called that out, but look, that's Keith's stocking. And they made, I commissioned someone to do a doodle. Does that say hook on it? And so they doodled all these like YouTube filming, chemistry, and knitting things. And that was just really cool. The tongs! Some things in here are random. But there's the, was that the plasmid? I made all these genie hats that had DNA on it. And I think I called the like headband version a plasmid. So, blast from the past. But yeah, I just love the doodle. Love, love, love it. All right, excuse the super awkward hand pose, but it is Memorial Day and it's 1 week before SMS starts and I have intros and conclusions to film. So I thought I needed a Pokemon manicure. I'm very, very excited. And no, this is definitely not sponsored, but I thought that holding on to the nail polish bottle would help me show off my manicure. I'm so excited by the little pokeball. It's the Tuesday before the SMSMS begins. And this is a gaming interlude to show how dedicated I am. And you can see my fun pokeball manicure. But today, they released Pokemon Home for Scarlet and Violet. And so if you know what that means. But basically, it is a transfer service that allows you to move Pokemon between different games. And so it means that a legendary Pokemon that I got on Scarlet, I can transfer to Violet, which means I can have my shiny charm and complete my Pokedex, which means I can go around and hunt shiny Pokemon. Yeah, this is a very, 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 very big deal. And I need to edit. I'm sitting here editing. Oh, it's so pretty, so pretty. But I would much rather be doing this right now. This is what I want to do. I really didn't mean to leave the editing until so last minute, but baseball has taken a lot more out of us than I thought. I mean, the kids are both playing baseball right now. For at least 4 days a week, we have baseball. And so, yeah, that's been a lot. But they are absolutely adorable playing. And so this is a major digression, but it's a vlog. And so you can know a little bit what's happening with my life. And I think I spoke at the beginning or at some point when Indy was really sick. He's doing so much better right now. So much better. And so that is great. That is great. Like, he's basically back to normal. And so all of that is good. But I'm sitting here with the temptation of wanting to play Pokemon. But I need to edit. I'll be able to get all this done, though. I feel like I also spent last week editing a lot of episodes of Diput Weekly, so that way after the SMSMS is over, which is then also leaning into the last few weeks of school, I can have like a little bit of a break. I hope. That's the plan. I just finished exporting, it's finishing exporting Night 4, which is the last of the 5 main videos I have to export. And I'm swapping up my manicure for something very neutral and subtle. Believe it or not, these two colors are subtly different, similar to the 2 little browns I used for our Eevee colorway. Truth be told, I had used a peel-off base coat for the other manicure, and one of them popped off somewhere, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to destroy this before I go film the conclusions, probably on... I don't know if I'll film the Eevee conclusions tonight. I might wait and edit that on Monday, which is the first night of the SMSMS, because that way I can make sure to finish the thumbnails and the annotations of the 5 main videos today while I'm working. But anyway, I didn't know if like the fun nails would last, and so I'm like, okay, we'll just swap it out and also just have some calming time to refresh my nails. For making thumbnails, I use a combination of Photoshop and Canva to get like a little outline around the Pokemon, which I didn't have in my videos themselves, but so they pop a little bit more on the backdrop here. I did that in Photoshop, and then the rest of this is in Canva because I like that I can work on all of the thumbnails together sort of in one scrollable screen. I prefer this user interface. The one thing I'm sad about, I really like the thumbnail and the way I've put this together, but I'm sad that I don't have the text for SMSMS anywhere on here, but it'll be on a playlist. And I just think that that's so cool. And like, it just worked out that my sketch lined up. Oh man, I really want to know what you guys think of these thumbnails, but I am just enjoying this a lot. And whenever I make them, I do try to do something like this where I'll make a thumbnail in color and then I'll try to decide a desaturated one. And I try to give a hint of the technique or something with the desaturated image. This one doesn't give as much of a hint, but yeah, I thought that it was just really fun. I have no idea how much vlog footage I have, and I don't normally vlog the editing process, but I don't know, I was just feeling sad that the thumbnails that I made, the black and white ones for before the premiere, that those aren't going to be around anymore. And I was like, aha, I'll put it in the vlog, and therefore it'll be recorded for eternity. So many devices. ChemKnits, and welcome to night 3 of the 2023 Spring Mini Skein mini-series. Here are all of the extras that went with the mini Skein sets. In addition to the Gotta Stash 'em All Pokeball bag, we have a sticker because I was so proud of this. It needed to be a sticker too. And then each of them came with a game controller and Eevee progress keeper. The extras came with a variety of different progress keepers. The bonus add-on Skein all came with this Pokeball progress keeper. The sock blanks had these 3-dimensional Bulbasaur, Psyduck, or Togepi. And then the yarn mops had an assortment of enamel progress keepers. Now normally when I'm making the vlog, I do everything in sort of chronological order because it's a story as I vlogged. And I don't know where this is gonna be in things because I kind of forgot to film or take pictures of the packaging along the way. So here I am, night 1 of SMSMS is done, night 2 is tonight, but I'm packing up some orders, which is a perfect excuse to show off the packaging. The add-ons are all in these red organza bags, and the add-on full-size skeins have these little controller, I think I showed the labels already, but you can see the little progress keeper and how that's on there. And then the mini skein sets are in these cotton canvas bags. And we've got the Pokeball labels I showed and the other 2 progress keepers attached with a little zip tie that can easily be cut off if someone might have trouble removing it. But I'm super happy with how the packaging turned out. It feels very fun, and that was the vibe that I wanted for this series. Now, I do have a few sets that are still available. A couple of add-ons and a couple of the mini skein sets. And if you go to the SMSMS listing, the main listing, you can pick your yarn base and also pick the night that the yarn came from. And so you can select either one first. You can say select night 3 and see what yarn bases night 3 is still available on, or select the yarn base you want and then see what nights might still be available for that. There will be links to this down in the video description, but yeah, I'm not sure how long I will have these listings up because they eventually, well, it might become regular inventory. So if you want the bag, I wouldn't wait too long. I just don't remember when the Gotta Stash 'em All came to my brain, but I love it and I am so excited about it. Here are the 5 nights all smushed together, all on one yarn base. This is the Crazy 8DK base. And I have to say, I am really, really pleased with how different all of them feel. For night 1, there's some chaos. You can feel almost like the coal and the fire as these colors sort of explode out of the darkness. Night 2 is super subtle, and you can feel, I think, a bit of that oxidizing copper feel. And that is just really, really cool. Night 3 is pretty subtle. The colors are deeper and the transitions are soft, even though there's still variegated patches in the colors. For night 4, I really have to show more of the skeins. This is also a very soft colorway. There's a lot of softness in these colors and the way that they're blended together. There are a handful of some speckles, but overall it's very soft. Definitely not as, I mean, actually it is variegated because there's the different colors, but it's not as speckly variegated. The color patches are larger than, say, what we had in night 2. But unlike night 4, where it's a very soft transition, we have a lot of contrast in night 5. Somewhat going back to night 1, where there was a lot of contrast between the blacks and the brights. Here, we have light and dark and lots of different color values in here. And it's just really, really fun. If you ordered a spring mini skein mini series set, which of the nights did you receive? Things are fairly even distributed amongst the 5 nights. Technically, I suppose there's slightly less from nights 4 and 5, and maybe slightly more of night 3, with 1 and 2 falling somewhere in the middle. I did keep recipes for all of these colors, and the 2 that would be the easiest for me to do a small batch or just replicate in general would be nights 2 and 3. Especially since 2 can be done like 1 at a time in a jar or 3 at a time, and night 3, I suppose I could reduce it and do it 1 set at a time, but doing it 3 at a time I think is the smallest batch size. Night 1, I think each batch had about 6 because of the way that I had the minis twisted together. And then night 4 can be done in 1 pan. I forget how many sets I did in the 1 pan version of that colorway, but technically that means that I would be able to do more of it in that kind of way. And then night Night 5 could be scaled up. It's just 5 different colorways. And so it would just, you know, I would need to probably dye more at once. Or at least I could dye more at once. And so the smallest batch there, I mean, I could do a single skein at a time. So I could do as small of a batch as I wanted. But for efficiency's sake, the smaller batches is bigger than some of the other nights. That's all. I am just really happy with the difference both in color palettes and feel we had, because I struggled a little bit to make color palettes feel different because there were a lot of Pokemon that I did not use for this, that I had pulled color palettes for, and ultimately it felt too similar to one of the other ones I had already used. And so I tried to pick ones and specifically look for Pokemon that would give me different ranges of colors to play around with. I tried to keep the Spring Mini Skein mini-series to around 5 videos, 1 bonus video, and then the vlog to have just like 1 week of videos. So that way it's a tiny bit smaller than Hanukkah. But it was hard to limit the colorways to just 6 Pokemon families. We had our Tepig Evolution colorway for night 1, where we did twisted skeins with speckles on top. On night 2, we looked at the Cubfant line, and I layered yarn and dye into mason jars to create sort of a random copper oxidized colorway. On night 3, we dip dyed connected mini skeins inspired by the Mischievous family and created something a little bit ethereal and soft. Leaning into some soft colors, on night 4, we used yellows, blues, and purples to create a 1-pan versus 5-pan colorway inspired by Amora and Auroras. And then on night 5, I did 5 different colorways individually to create a fade set inspired by Shroodle and Grafaiai, some new Pokemon from the latest series. And then finally, we have Eevee and our evolutions, and I dyed full skeins with a pastel neutral brown base and then speckles to represent the 8 different Pokemon that Eevee can evolve into. So really, we did have 20 Pokemon total as part of our inspiration. But there were some other swatches and images that I pulled into my spreadsheet and started playing around with. And I'm going to pop some of those up here right now. Some of them I didn't pick because it was too similar to another color family that I started with. Like if I was already doing a sort of teal and copper, I didn't want to do also a green and brown colorway. And others I debated a lot, but ultimately I'm really happy that I went with the Pokemon that I picked. And these other guys I just showed you, maybe these will be color palettes that I will use in the future. I really enjoyed starting with the Pokemon and picking a color palette using specific dye colors that I wanted to use. That was a really fun way for me to play around with the colors. Even if I did procrastinate a lot for nights 4 and 5 because I couldn't really decide exactly what I wanted to do, but I adore the way that those color combinations came together and want to explore some of those combinations again. I think sometimes when I'm left to myself, I struggle a little bit picking colors. Now, as I'm filming these pre-conclusions, I have still not edited the video. And normally when I'm doing the talking heads up here, intro and conclusions, I have edited the whole middle of the video and then I film both of these after. Because then I know, oh, these are stories or things that I need to fill in the conclusions because I never filmed myself saying that during the video itself. So I have a feeling I will be popping back in to give a more formal conclusion here. But since I was up here with the camera and all dressed up already, I figured that I may as well start filming a little bit of a bookend. And I can absolutely say from here, thank you so much for joining me for the series, whether you're watching the video on demand later or have joined for the premiere and the live chat. It means so much to me. The biggest way that you can help support the content here, and there are many, many ways you can support the content, but the biggest thing is watching the videos, engaging with the videos, subscribing. This helps the channel grow. This helps make it possible for me to continue playing with all kinds of random colors and random techniques. And I love what I do. And so thank you so much for allowing me to explore color as my passion. I'm so thankful that I'm able to do this and share it with all of you. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and thank you so much for watching.